What's up, guys? Adam here with Anabolic Climbing, climbing's favorite mad scientist, and it looks like the data is in. It's been about 6 months since we started taking Anavar for doing our block pulls and Abrahangs, and we have data to compare not just to Anavar on its own, doing Abrahangs, Anavar on its own, plus doing block pulls and Abrahangs, and then Anavar plus block pulls plus weighted hangs plus testosterone. And, with only one case study that is myself, I could say that, at least for me, the benefits have been extraordinarily outsized compared to natural training. So, buckle up, let's go through the numbers, and let's get into it. So, when I started out this process, I had been climbing for about 5 years, and we're just going to go off of one arm loads. My one hand, or per hand, I was able to do on a 20 millimeter edge about 65 pounds for 4-second pulls. Just doing Abrahangs at night, initially twice a day, then cutting it down to once a day because I started to accumulate too much stiffness in my fingers. Over that, plus climbing 3 to 4 times a week, I was able to go from December to February to about 85 pounds per hand. So the way that translates for me mechanically, I weighed about 155 at the start. After those first 3 months, essentially eating at maintenance from a minor caloric deficit, my body weight went from 155 to 158, and we added plus 15 pounds to my weighted hangs. So from there, that put us at about 85 pounds per hand. So let's talk about that, of just doing Abrahangs and getting that as a result. When we took a look at some of the data that Emil Abramson put together, he basically said you would get a 2 to 3% increase in finger strength from Abrahangs alone, and another 3% if you included your block pulls or your weighted hangs. So if we were to sort of run the numbers on that, you would expect to see a 5% increase in a trained individual, so over a 6-week training block. So that would be about 5-pound gain per hand per 6-week training block. So over that 3 months, we didn't gain 10 pounds, instead we gained 20, which is pretty exciting, to just do some Abrahangs and gain 20 pounds per hand over 3 months is pretty legit. So what happens when we combine them? Do the results stack? Do we go from, gaining 10 pounds per block to 20 pounds? And the answer is actually yes. In the first training block, we went from 85 per hand to 105. I went weighing an increase from 159 to about 163 on Anavar only. And from there, I was doing weighted hangs with plus 45 pounds on the strength test. Pretty sizable, right? We were actually able to see the double gains. So then, the natural question is, when you introduce testosterone into the equation, do you get a strength gain from the testosterone? Do you yield a higher chance of injury? What happens? And that's when things get even crazier. So I have been on testosterone since February. Going from February to now, on my last attempt on the training block, I was doing so I was pulling 110 off the ground for 4 seconds. This training block, we went from 110 to 135, which is a 25-pound increase. I am over the moon. You can watch me gritting it out right over here on the right. I am not going to show you the TI that I was mouthing like schizo, but the music's popping. I am going absolutely ham to try to get hyped up for this lift, and I was ready to be stoked at 125. I didn't think 135 was going to go, but with a little bit of luck and a whole lot of determination and grit, even on both hands, there you have it for 4 seconds. And it was failure on that last bit. So, you know, injury-free, feeling really good after this deload. Can we say that it's twice as good as not taking anything? I'm not prepared to say that. Can I say that taking performance-enhancing drugs did not compromise tendon integrity while yielding outsized results compared to a natural trainer as it relates to finger strength? The answer is yes. I'm going to continue to run this for another cycle to see if that is a thing that can work for another training block. And this time we're going to do it in a caloric deficit. So are we going to be able to keep our strength gains in a calorie deficit? No, I will not be doing the strength test in a deficit. I will probably bring up calories back to maintenance for it. But if we lose weight, will we continue to make strength gains? That's going to be the next experiment. But, oh man, so far this has been, really exciting. Really, I think the best way to say it is validating. I had, last round of blood work looked even better than it was before I hopped on stuff, so I've been managing my blood work super well. Also, we're doing this on a 10 milligram Anavar dose. So now the question sort of becomes, and it has kind of always been, why 10 milligrams? Why not 20, which is a normal male dose? Why haven't you tried upping the dose beyond that? And the answer is, as it relates to Anavar and for the collagen synthesis, the longer the duration, the better the results versus just upping the drugs and front-loading everything and, having worse lipid parameters and worse liver enzymes and whatnot. So, if you want to spike things up, get even more strength, potentially damage your liver, I might at one point try to run higher doses of Anavar. When I'm ready to come off, I'll probably bump the doses up a little bit to see if I'm able to tolerate the increases in strength. But to know that on a really low drug burden that I can tolerate, I'm able to get drastically increased gains versus my natural counterparts, that's pretty sweet, man. In general, once again, do not run Anavar without running at least HCG, probably testosterone, just because, when you come off, you're going to suppress your HPTA and it'll lower your testosterone. It'll have some downstream effects. So, if you're not ready to live this lifestyle in its entirety, do not just start popping Anavar to try to gain better tendon integrity. That's a horrible idea. I cannot endorse that. But if you're already on TRT and you are climbing and you want to add something else in to get that much better results, it seems like, at least in one case study, the results are pretty clear. I'm going to continue to update on other experiments, but if you have run Anavar and had similar results, please let me know. And if you're looking for more Q&A, feel free to drop some stuff in the comments. Anyways, guys, I know I sound excited because I am. It's been really cool having this hypothesis, testing it, and getting a result that I was hoping for. And yeah, just going to keep pushing on our road to Rainbow Rocket. Deadlift hit a new PR. I was going for 405. I failed it. Capped at about 355. Maybe in another 2 training blocks we'll get there. Legs, got my first pistol squat. Over the moon. All the pieces are coming together. So, don't forget to click subscribe. Looking forward to the next experiment on the mini cut of SLUPP 332 plus retatrutide. We're going to drop 5 to 10 pounds in the next training block and come back with some results on that. But yeah, Adam with Anabolic Climbing, send hard, and talk to you soon.